Hey there everybody, welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're starting off the week now with the episode that we call This Week, which will basically talks about the content of what I'm going to be videoing for the week, and also if there's anything coming up in the future that may not come out this week but maybe coming out in a few weeks. Or even a month, or maybe even Christmas. You don't know what's going to happen. So anyways, this show, I have a fairly lengthy involvement this week. We have 7 episodes from my series, which is those great bands with 2 or more great lead vocals, lead singers if you prefer. Series is now into I think it's day 9. Yeah, day 9 was this morning. So if you were up early, you can go back and watch that episode. So the next episode that comes out on Sunday, which is normally after this week, which comes out at noon, usually was called Ben's Album Challenge, but we're doing something a little bit different now. So Ben's Album Challenge is going to alternate. So it'll do 1 week, and then the following week we are going to have a new series which is called the Great Album Challenge. I've changed the name a few times, so a little confused, but basically what it is Ben is also going to help me with this. I talked to him about it and asked him if he was interested, and he said he was. We were originally talking about monster hits, but I decided I wanted to do this show as well, so I thought it would be perfect for him. And we were going to originally do it on a Tuesday night, but I decided since we're going to alternate an episode with Ben's Album Challenge, why not do this one so that he's on the same day. So this is basically a kind of a ranking episode. So what happens is Ben will go back, pick a year, any year he wants in rock history, and pick 10 albums from that year that he really likes. In this particular case, it's not any particular genre. He could choose to do one genre if he decides to do that. I gave him the alternative to do that if he wanted to. He's chosen to do, the year he's chosen to do for this week is going to be 1977, which I believe is the year he was born. And he's chose 10 albums, and I will look at the 10 albums and then rank them according to my preference. And I'll probably talk a little bit about the albums and why they were so big to me and what I liked about them, and of course they'll all be ranked according to my feelings about them, from least favorites to most favorite. Decided to do something like this because I only have that one show on the Wednesday night called Favorites, and that seems to be the favorite show on this channel. So I wanted to do something else to give me a little bit more of those favorite type things. And so this is a specific type of video where he will pick a year and he'll pick either a genre or just albums in general, if that's who he so desires. And then I will rank them and talk about them. So that show will be coming out this Sunday night, will be its debut, and then Ben's Album Challenge will be back the following week. Okay, so the next show up is a show that I've been doing since the beginning of my channel, called Look Back at a Classic Rock Album. This week I've decided to do this album, Steve Hackett's Acolyte. Voyage of the Acolyte. Sorry, it's really difficult because it's blue on a blue background, so yeah, not trying to get up as close as I can. You can see that Voyage of the Acolyte. And then at the bottom you'll see Steve Hackett. It's a really kind of nice album cover. This album has been out there as being the lost Genesis album because Phil Collins and Mike Rutherford are also on this album. And this was the year that they didn't have an album. So people have often said this is the lost Genesis album. And it does have some Genesis feel to it in some areas, but there's no Tony Banks on this and no Peter Gabriel on this. So to me, this doesn't really feel like a Genesis album, but still a very good album. So we will be doing that for a look back at a classic rock album this week. Okay, so the next show that comes out is, of course, again, my Wednesday night favorites. I did do the sequel last week to those great, 10 great prog albums that every collection should have, and this one was basically more, and it was a little bit more varied too. I tried to space it out a little bit more to pick certain areas of the prog scene, because by the time you got the first 10, probably need to space out and try some different areas of the progressive rock. But this week we're going to do another ranking of songs off an album. I enjoyed the last two I did, and so I may do this periodically for a bit till I get tired of it, but people seem to be enjoying it. So we're going to do an album I've long loved, one of my favorites, comes from my favorite band, of course. There's only 4 tracks on this album, Rush's Hemispheres, but all really good, so you might find it interesting to find out which songs I like the best and which ones I like the worst. I'd say the least, but the fact is that there are no bad tracks on this album. Really great album. So we'll be doing this album on my Wednesday night favorites this week, which of course comes out on Wednesday night. Okay, so Thursday we are back again with a show that alternates now. So last week we did, I just want to make sure I get this right. Last week we did an episode, and I do not have my notes with me. That is weird. Anyways, this week we're going to be back doing metal again. And oh yeah, we did the Forward Champion this week, and actually the episode came out on Thursday. This will again continue on a Thursday night with metal's second episode. And for those of you who have been listening or have been following it, I did one newer band, basically a metal band that came out in the past decade or so, and then I will do one that's older than 10 years on the second episode. I've chosen an Australian band, progressive metal band called Voyager. I saw some stuff on them on the internet the other day, and I decided this is going to be the band that I'm going to do this week. I don't even know how many albums or very much about them, but we're going to give it a listen. I'll listen to their stuff during the week, try to read up on them a bit, and so I'll have something to present for metal on Thursday featuring Voyager, a prog metal band from Australia. Okay, so the next episode for the week will be on Friday night, and normally Friday Night Live alternates with the Psychedelic Snack, but the Psychedelic Snack I've decided to put on as a show that I'll do periodically here and there, like pretty much like what I do with What's New and what is the difference, those type of shows that I do periodically when I get the whim to do them. So this show now will be Friday Night Live will now alternate with Monster Hits, which was on the Sunday a week ago, and so now we're going to move it to the Friday night spot, and we'll alternate with the live and then Monster Hits. For those of you who don't know what Monster Hits is, I take a year in rock history. I've decided, rather than take a random year, because we're doing that with the Great Album Challenge. Ben and me are doing that, and he's going to pick random years. I don't want to do another thing that's another random, so this will be continuous. So last time we did 1969. This time we're going to do 1970. I'm going to choose 5 big hits from that year, my big hits that I like, and then rank them according to my own preference. And I hope that you will pick 5 of yours from that year and rank them as well, because part of the reason I decided to do this is that I wanted to get to know people's different preferences on different songs, and this will give me an opening to learn a little bit more. That's the main reason for this show. So anyways, that will come out Friday night at the normals. Actually, I think the Friday night one is going to go back to the 10 o'clock if I didn't do that. I'm not sure if I did that last week or the week before, but I want to put it back to the 10 o'clock spot that it originally had before. And then, of course, this Saturday we're going to do the awaited episode for Kiss, kind of a tribute to their 50th anniversary. Can you believe Kiss has been around for 50 years? Christ, man, I remember buying that first album, which was the first album I ever bought. I was only 11 at the time. I thought, wow, look at this new band. And now it's 50 years have gone by, and these guys are still rocking out, right? Although they're a little bit more on the cover bandish side now than they were back then. But still, a band that very much influenced me and brought rock and roll to my doorstep. So we will be doing a tribute, much like what we did for AC/DC, but this is just going to be a single episode. I'm not doing a lot of prep work here. I pretty much know everything that I ever want to know about Kiss and beyond. So it'll be interesting. I hope that you can join me for that. I think it'll be fun. Okay, and then of course we have our series, which will come out every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. Got some interesting bands coming up this week. Hope you can join me for that as well. Anything else that I should tell you about? No, all the new shows have been launched now. And the slots have been all set, and it's going to stay this way for a bit. It depends on the shows. If nobody's interested in a particular show, I'm not going to force them to watch it. I will remove it and come up with something that might be a little more interesting. But as of right now, I'm pretty interested in the stuff that I put down, and I want to stick with it. So I hope to see you this week at some point for one of these shows, and join me for that. That would be great. So please like and subscribe. And if you have any actually suggestions for new shows that you would like to see or something you would like to hear, let me know. If I don't answer you right away, it's because I like to think about how that would organize and how that would work out. So don't take disheart if I don't. It's just that's the way it is, and when I do get to it, I will mention your name for that. So anyways, I hope everybody has a good week, and please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated, and we'll be back with this week next week. So take care. Bye.